Hello everybody, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube. Every Monday, we are live on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe to this channel, turn on your notifications, that way you don't miss out on anything. And speaking of missing out on anything, don't miss out on visiting, there you go, RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. And today we are talking about cruise excursions to the Western Caribbean. You know, when it comes to planning a cruise, I think there's a lot of people who are always trying to figure out what to do in the ports they visit. After all, you go on a cruise, it's going to bring you some amazing places around the world. And today we're talking about the Western Caribbean. So we're here to help you really answer your Western Caribbean cruise questions. Maybe there's an excursion you're interested in for a particular port, or what to pack, or really anything in between when it comes to visiting some of the amazing islands in the Western Caribbean. We're talking places like Belize, Mexico, Grand Cayman, Falmouth, Jamaica, and plenty more spots as well. It's a great spot. Saying hello to everybody in our chat. We do record these videos live, so if you hear me talking to people, it's the people in our chat over here. So really appreciate you guys hanging in there. First question of the day is Victoria Sargent wants to know, is Liberty of the Seas a good ship? Liberty's a fabulous ship. Sails out of Galveston, Texas currently, and sails to the Western Caribbean exclusively. And it is a fabulous ship, a Freedom class ship. Love, love, love Liberty of the Seas. Hello, Susie Junga. Hello, Lisa S. Helen Little is here. Gary Richard. Mr. RT Ryder. Gloria. Welcome, 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 guys. Sport Crazy will be on Allure of the Sea September 7th. Awesome. I also want to hear, guys, what is your countdown looking at? How many days till your next Royal Caribbean cruise? Have it in chat. I want to know what your countdown's looking like. Pierre's going on Adventure of the Seas August 9th. Israel Camacho, best excursions at TOT. I think there's an autocorrect there. Michael Burns, what's a good ship to go on? They're great ships, and there's not one ship in Royal Caribbean's fleet I don't recommend going on. If you're looking for a Western Caribbean itinerary, however, some great options. The aforementioned Liberty of the Seas. Harmony of the Seas is also a fabulous ship that goes to the Western Caribbean. A lot of cruises out of Florida will go to the Western Caribbean, so there's no shortage of them. Brian Harkin wants to know, what is there to do in Roatan? Roatan is an island off of the coast of Honduras. And really, when you're talking about Roatan, you're probably talking about three major components: Mayan ruins, a day at the beach, or snorkeling or scuba diving. Something with seeing the fishies, spending time with the fishies down there. It is well known for its beautiful beaches and even more beautiful scenic underwater vistas. Belize and Roatan and Cozumel, Mexico, all have wonderful reputations for diving. Tim Black, I wish I could find a good rate for a solo passenger. I found the key to getting really good rates, Tim, is to look for cruises well in advance. Even as a solo cruiser, even if it's not a solo room, my advice is look for rates that are out there. Look 12, 16, 18 months from now, and look for some of the better rates that are available. I think if you have an opportunity to find those and book them well in advance, you will find long-term it's a great deal, regardless if you're paying the single supplement fee or not. Let's see here. Scuba Pilot going on Harmony of the Seas. Brian Harkin, 144 days till Allure of the Seas. Sport Crazy, you need help for San Juan. San Juan, don't book anything. I know, it's kind of crazy. What I would recommend you do in San Juan is get off the ship and just explore. Old San Juan is a beautiful city. Tons to see and do in Old San Juan. You don't need an excursion. Your ship docks right in the heart of the city, so you literally walk off and you're in there, and you can explore, eat, shop, eat some more, see some of the history, maybe grab a bite to eat, and if you're still not hungry, if you're still not full, eat a few more things, then get back on the ship. Lots to do in Old San Juan. Dr. Sparkle's second live stream. Israel wants to know, Costa Maya Fun Excursion Symphony of the Seas, 230 days to go. I love Costa Maya. Costa Maya is actually a man-made cruise port. What that means is, if you go back about 20 years ago or so, there was nothing there. It was literally the middle of nowhere. But they built a cruise port in this place called Costa Maya, which is better known by the locals by the town's name, which is Mahalwal. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Costa Maya is really known for two things: Mayan ruins and beaches. So you're either going to the Mayan ruins or you're going to the beach. Now, Costa Maya is a little unique in that they have a massive port area. So I mentioned earlier that cruise lines built this port facility over there, but they didn't just build a dock. They built essentially a giant mall with things to do, places to shop, things to eat. I mean, you really could do that. I think you're kind of shortchanging yourself if you limit yourself just to this, because it's very much manufactured tourism at its best or worst, depending on your perspective, I suppose. But if you're going to Costa Maya, one of my favorite places to go in Costa Maya, every time I go to Costa Maya, I go to this place. So this shows you I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I go to a place called Maya Chan. Maya Chan is an all-inclusive day pass resort that's a very short taxi ride away. It's run by a bunch of American expats, and Maya Chan has what I would say the best customer service I have ever gotten at any all-inclusive resort kind of place. So Cesar wants to know what to do in Grand Cayman. Grand Cayman is a beautiful island. I would say there's a lot of great choices in Grand Cayman. You could go to Stingray City and swim or really touch some stingrays. There's a turtle farm where you can see some baby turtles and hold them, I guess, and play with them and take cute pictures with them and and then afterwards you can actually eat turtle soup. Irony aside. You can do that. There's actually a giant tourist trap in Grand Cayman called Hell. It's just this random place, and it literally, so you can say that you went to hell. Get it? Israel Camacho, thank you for the super chat. Very kind of you. And Ken Foster, thank you for the super chat as well. Sarah Baker, which cave tubing company in Belize do you recommend? I haven't done one over there, Sarah. What I would recommend you check out is a website called shoreexcursioneer.com. It's my go-to starting place for shore excursions. Keep in mind, Sarah, Royal Caribbean will offer its own variety of tubing options as well, so don't overlook their choices as a consideration. Oh, Araceli, thank you for reminding me. 7 Mile Beach. If you're looking for just beach time in Grand Cayman, I am definitely remiss by not mentioning 7 Mile Beach. Beautiful stretch of beach. It is not just one giant beach, like you just go there. There's a bunch of operations on the beach. So what I would recommend you do if you're going to 7 Mile Beach is get in a taxi, tell the taxi driver, hey, I'm looking for like a free access to the beach. I'm looking for a resort area where I could have like, waiter service and umbrellas and chairs. Let them know you're looking for, they can bring you over there. Ainsley is recommending in Costa Maya the beach and salsa experience tequila. Ainsley, you had me at tequila. And by the way, Ainsley, thank you for the recommendation. Guys, if you have any good recommendations for shore excursions in the Western Caribbean, I want to hear about it. So please type it in chat so we can share it with everybody over here. Valerie, Jewel of the Seas is awesome. Mike wants to know anything about Anthony's Key in Roatan, Honduras. I do not, Mike. I've not heard of that one yet. Portia, any advice for a first-time cruiser? You should be doing exactly what you're doing right now, Portia. You should be researching as much as you can ahead of time. When it comes to shore excursions, this is truly the power of the internet because you have so many great resources available to you. Plan as much as you can before the cruise. Pam says, you say that the Roller app with texting doesn't send notifications. You have to physically check to see if you have a message. Do I have that right? Yes, last time I used it, that's correct, Pam. So if your phone is off, if it's just like sitting in the, well, now it's on, but if it was off like this and you messaged me on there, I wouldn't get the notification until I actually open the app. That may be changing later on, but here we are right now. Daniel wants to do more excursions pop up on the cruise planner the closer I get to the sailing date. Well, it depends how far out you are, Daniel. If you're like a year or more out, possibly yes. But the shore excursion offerings generally don't change all that much from Royal Caribbean exclusively. That's why I often recommend to work in other shore excursions on your own. The Western Caribbean is a very easy area of the world to do excursions on your own. And I know a lot of people are out there saying, Matt, if you get stuck behind, there's a lot of issues potentially with that and all the dangers and risks involved with planning an excursion on your own. But I would tell you that planning excursion on your own in Western Caribbean is easy, provided you take the necessary steps. So first and foremost, when you're doing excursions on your own, it's about time management, okay? So what that means is, if you're due back to the ship, if all aboard time is 3 o'clock, do not plan to get back to the ship at 2:30 or even 2 o'clock. Get back at 1 o'clock or noontime. That way you have plenty of time pad in case there is a traffic delay or something unforeseen circumstance. Kane Gillett, hope I said that right. Thank you for the super chat. Thanks for all the great content you do. What are the best excursions for young Aussie couple first time visiting? Kane, where are you going exactly? Which islands are you visiting? Because there's a lot of great choices. But when we're talking about Western Caribbean, at the end of the day, if all else fails, guys, every port offers a tremendous beach experience. Costa Rica, JLK. I don't believe Royal Caribbean goes to Costa Rica, so I can't recommend anything there, unfortunately. Millie Sanchez, going on Mariner this season to Coco Key, not interested in the zipline or water park. What do you suggest? That's fine. Just go to Oasis Lagoon Pool, hang out over there. Super Starian Knows How says, I loved the Boss underwater excursion in Roatan. Awesome, thank you. Araceli, how's Rhapsody this season? I know it's an older ship, however, the price is awesome, and so are the ports. Araceli, I did that exact scenario I ran across when I went on Rhapsody of the Seas for spring break 2018. We went out of Tampa, 7 nights, incredible itinerary, even better prices. You know what, Araceli, as long as you understand that you're not getting like a zip line and a major Broadway show on board, things that you get with larger ships, it's totally cool. It's a great option, in fact. JT is going to Maya Chan on Empress of the Season in 41 days. I'm sure you already know this, but you were in for a wonderful choice. Reese's Tech Pieces, what are their thoughts on key priority boarding and disembarkation combined with internet and special activity times? P.S. I know you said to avoid, I just wasn't sure why. And I'm glad you mentioned that. Reese is referring to one of our latest videos we did put out last week, in which the key program Royal Caribbean offers, I said you can skip it. And when I said that is, you're basically paying for the option to have that stuff. You're paying extra money that I think could be better spent elsewhere. On top of that, Reese's, I feel like you can attain very similar results on your own with a little bit of planning. Like, well, the internet, you can already get the internet anyway, and you can get a discount by pre-purchasing. So that's gone, right? How about you want to get on board the ship early, right? That's one of the benefits of the key. Just show up to the port early. If you were at the port between 10 and 11 a.m., you will be among the first people to board the ship, whether or not you have the key. It's not going to save you that much time there. So, problem solved there. Access signature activities. One of my favorite tips is show up to an activity about 15 or 20 minutes before it is scheduled to start. That way, you're going to beat the line before the line develops. Victoria wants to know, is a 7-day Western Caribbean cruise good for a first cruise? Absolutely. It is a great idea. Dr. Sparkles, how are the Chacoban ruins of Costa Maya? They're not bad. I would tell you there are a lot of different ruins you can see, Mayan ruins in Mexico. Certainly, any of them are really nice to see. By far, the best Mayan ruin is Chichen Itza. Chichen Itza, though, is quite a hike to get there. So it's kind of it's really a hassle to get there, quite frankly. So Chacoban ruins are perfectly fine. A-Law2294, thank you for the super chat. Are there any excursions pregnant women can do? Absolutely. I mean, first of all, in almost every port, I'm trying to think of an exception. I can't think of one. Maybe Falmouth. There is always a downtown or city you can simply walk around and enjoy a day over there. You can't go wrong there, and any person, pregnant or not, can enjoy that kind of an excursion. And by the way, you don't need an excursion for that. You just hop in a taxi cab, say you want to go downtown, they'll drop you off somewhere, do some shopping and do some eating, kind of take it easy. If you're looking for, speaking of taking it easy, a always great idea for pregnant women would also be a day pass. Places that offer, typically hotels or resorts, offer you a price to access their facilities, and that is the definition of chilling out, relaxing, enjoying your time there. And that way, the nice thing about, the other reason why I like going to a resort and getting a day pass as opposed to just simply going to the beach is for the facilities they offer, restrooms, shade, food, service. It helps. I think it would help quite a bit, making your life a whole lot easier. Sport Crazy, I tried to book on some ships out of Florida as a single traveler, but I can't do it. Do I need to pay for 2 under the same name? No, you should be able to book a room as a solo person. I mean, obviously there's maybe some extenuating circumstances that relate to your particular sailing you're looking for. My advice, honestly, is work with a travel agent. They can definitely help you out there, a good travel agent. But at the same time, I would tell you that you should have no issues booking it on your own. Brian, can you bring a small drone to use in the ports? The answer is you can, but you need to obey local laws. Believe it or not, there are laws in places like Mexico and Honduras and Grand Cayman. You've got to follow the rules. They're pretty lax. In most ports, they'll probably have some rules about you can't fly the drone immediately in the dock area. But if you're going to the beach, I'm sure that's fine. Just look up the maps. It's pretty easy to do so. You just want to make sure you're aware of the rules of where and where you can't fly it. Sonoma, is it true that if you get on the cruise and decide on a drink package, you only have to pay for the amount of the days left? That is true, Sonoma. So if you get on a 7-night cruise and you don't have the drink package, then day 2 or maybe day 3, you say, you know what? I want that drink package. You pay a prorated rate for the remaining time of your cruise. Keep in mind, though, you can't buy the drink package on like the second to last day. You need to have, I believe, 3 or 4 days left in your cruise in order to buy the drink package. So keep that in mind in your math. Certainly skipping a day or 2 may not be a bad idea, but if you're on a 3 or 4 night cruise, it's either day 1 or it's not happening. So just fair warning. Daniel Lopez wants to know, has anyone ever done the snorkel excursion in St. Martin? Is it any good? Of course, St. Martin in the Eastern Caribbean. I have not done that particular one, Daniel. Maybe someone in our chat can help you out there. Eleanor says hello, Eleanor. Pilot Ketus says thanks for the great content. You are very welcome. And Brian Harkin, thank you for being a Royal Caribbean blog insider. Excuse me. Really appreciate that. Israel says, have you heard of the seaweed issue at some beaches resolving, or is it an ongoing issue? So you're talking about the seagrass situation in Costa Maya. Costa Maya primarily is affected by this phenomenon called seagrass. We call it seaweed, but technically speaking, it's called seagrass. And basically, the seagrass comes from like Brazil or Africa, and it travels in like one of the ocean currents and ends up piling up on the beach more so than usual in Costa Maya. It is an ongoing issue. There are definitely ebbs and flows to it. I've been there to Costa Maya where there's been literally knee-deep amount of seagrass, and I've been there where there's barely any. There's no way to really predict it. It's just kind of one of those situations. I will say, Israel, one of the nice things about Maya Chan, which is the resort I mentioned earlier, they will tell you when they pick you up. If the seagrass problem is a problem, they're going to give you a warning when they pick you up and give you the option for a full refund right on the spot. Dat Guy Ovadias, is the onboard spa worth the expense for a couple's massage? Not for the couple's massage. Actually is a really bad value. You're better off booking 2 different spa massages. You'll probably get more out of it, quite frankly. It's really romantic and cute, and I know you want to do it together, but you're going to get more money out of you're going to get more value if you do it on your own. Victoria, does Royal Caribbean do cruises outside of the Caribbean? Absolutely. They go to Alaska, Europe, China, Asia, transatlantic crossings, trans-Pacific crossings. They go literally all over the world. Kat wants to know, can you do more than one excursion at a port? If time allows, absolutely. Keep in mind, though, in a lot of ports, you don't have a ton of time to really make 2 excursions happen. I would say the only way you could do 2 excursions is if you do 2 really short ones, like maybe a zip line immediately in the morning, and then you were to go do like go to a beach for the second half, something like that. That's more practical. But if you're imagining doing like a ATV tour and then going and doing a salsa class, you probably don't have time for that. It's probably not going to work for you. Sarah Baker recommends the Cayman Turtle Center in Grand Cayman. It's good to self-book. Absolutely, great choice there. That's the turtle area. I didn't know the name of it, but certainly that's what it's called there. So you're good to go. Doug, does USL coverage cover in Hawaii without being charged? Absolutely, Doug. It's part of the US. If you're a US resident, you have a US cellular plan, your cell service will work in all US territories and states, including Hawaii, Alaska, San Juan, Puerto Rico, St. Thomas, St. John. Guam, if it's part of the US, your cell service works there at no additional cost. Would you recommend bringing any snorkel gear on a cruise? Ooh, that's a good question, Reese's. You know, obviously, if you're really into it, if it's a big deal to you snorkeling, then yeah, you should bring your own. It's obviously a major hassle to bring your own equipment because you're lugging it all around, right? It's far easier to let someone else do it. I would tell you that 2 choices really come to my mind. Either you bring your own, of course you have it, built-in costs, makes sense as long as you're okay lugging it, do that. The other option might be to look at a third-party provider that you can rent higher quality snorkel gear. When you typically do excursions to Royal Caribbean, you're getting just, here's everybody gets a set of flippers and a snorkel, have at it, right? And it's like, it's just basic stuff. If you're really into it, you probably want higher end stuff. And again, maybe at that point you can rent it from somebody else there. Michael says, Matt's robot in the back must have been bad. I don't know why he turned off in that position, but he did there. Jody brings her own snorkeling mask because there's a prescription element to it. There you go. Jakari wants to know, I have a drink question. Is the Coco Loco the same as the Labadoozy? Hope you're sitting down for this, but yes, it is the same exact drink. Just different name, same exact beverage. Gloria brings their own snorkel gear. Eleanor is doing their first Royal Caribbean cruise in April. Any recommendations for excursions for Costa Maya and or Cozumel? Costa Maya, Maya Chan is a great all-inclusive day pass. I would recommend that. We have a full review of it at royalcaribbeanblog.com. Cozumel, you have a ton of choices. You can go back to the beach again. Some great places if you want a day pass are El Cosmolino or Nachicoco. If you're looking for some shopping, you take a taxi downtown to San Miguel, which is the downtown area of Cozumel. Great shopping, great dining, lots to do there. That'll keep you busy for most of the day. There are actually Mayan ruins on Cozumel. They're not very significant, but they're Mayan ruins, and you can see Mayan ruins. They're called San Gervasio. You can take a taxi or book something. You can take a ferry to the mainland in Cozumel, go to Tulum, which has absolutely stunning Mayan ruins as well. I would recommend if you go to the mainland, which is where Playa del Carmen is. Cozumel's an island. Playa del Carmen's on the mainland. It's a very short ferry ride, but if you're going to the mainland, make sure you book your excursion through Royal Caribbean because that ferry is notorious for travel delays. Is Chef's Table adventurous like Wonderland? Even more so, Penelope. Chef's Table is a personalized dining experience. There's many courses that last many hours. It is a very intense dining experience. Wonderland is just obviously has some shtick to it, but not nearly. It's more shtick, less about the food than Chef's Table is. Let's see here. Super Starian knows how says the chocolate tour in Cozumel was fun and educational. Awesome. Triple AO, among all your cruises, where would you take, among all your cruises taken, where would you place, Anthem of the Seas. Anthem's my top 5. Triple AO. I was just on Anthem of the Seas a couple weeks ago. Had a great time. I love Anthem. Fabulous ship. Lisa says, agreed, we heard all aboard a horn halfway through the ferry back to the ship. Yeah, that's why you want to book that through Row. I'm usually very proactive or really encouraging about booking excursions on your own, especially in the Western Caribbean. But if you're taking the ferry ride to Playa del Carmen or points westward, you definitely want to book it through Royal Caribbean just to be safe. Mariano Jimenez, on Navigator, you can't book entertainment ahead of time, correct? That is correct. If so, with the key, how early should I plan to get there? 20, 30 minutes, I would say about 20 minutes before the set time. Brian wants to know, is Coco Key, is Captain Jack's including the unlimited dining package? It is not. Setup, I got a call from Royalty Caribbean Cruise Ships promising me a free cruise. They just need my credit card number. Totally legit, right? Whew, man, I'm so glad you saw that as a scam. Because you know what? Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who probably don't see that. And it's really bad news for them. But that's pretty funny. Funny because obviously we can laugh at it now. Unfortunately, they dupe, I'm sure, a lot of people. How do you usually get to the port from your hotel, Reese's? Uber or Lyft. That's really the easiest way to do that. Obviously, you can rent a car as well if you're staying for maybe overnight and you want to have some more flexibility in that. But either renting a car or Lyft or Uber is the way to go. Trinidad, I have a lot of questions. Can you email me? And also have one last question. No, I can't email you, but you could also send your email into the Royal Caribbean Blog podcast. Also, you could post it on the Royal Caribbean Blog message boards. I would probably tell you that's your best bet, is to go to RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, post on the message boards. But Trinidad, if you have a question, give me one question right now. We'll answer it for you right here. I mean, we can make it work. We're here to help everybody have a better cruise experience overall. And you know what? We got a good collective brain here of friends who really know cruising very, very well. So happy to answer as much as we can about that. Sean Wordsman, going on your first Royal Caribbean cruise in a couple weeks, will we be able to swim in the ocean without booking offshore excursions? In a lot of cases, yes, Sean. It depends on the port. Access to beaches can be somewhat limited, or not necessarily easy to get to. Like, what I mean by that is, if you just simply want to walk off the ship and jump in the ocean, that can be a little more limiting. But if you're willing to take a taxi, absolutely, no question about it. Good evening, Christine. Welcome. Owen wants to know, for beginners, would you recommend Harmony or Navigator? I would recommend Harmony of the Seas. And the only reason I say that, Navigator is a fabulous ship. But one of the things I would say for first-timers, Owen, is you want to do a 7-night sailing, not a 3 or a 4-nighter. Because they're just too short, and as first-timers, you don't quite really know what you like and don't like. 7-night cruise is great. It's going to offer you the best of what Royal Caribbean has to offer, not only on its ships, but also in ports. And if you have a good blend of sea days and port days, it is the best way to go about it. Doug, I'm not sure when I could talk about the $18 unlimited drink package. It was just a price mistake. It was honored, but if you got it, you got it. I'm not sure. Is that what you're asking, or am I missing the point of what you're looking for? Todd has a question for us. Do you have to pay as an adult to enter the slide area to watch the kids, or is it just take part in those? You have to, in order to get into the water park, you need to pay. And yes, even if your kids just want to do it and you don't want to ride anything, you still have to pay, Todd. It's kind of like if you want to go to Disney World, right? Even if you don't ride any slots, if you don't ride any rides in Disney World, you still have to pay for admission. Same basic idea there. Stephen Peck wants to know, what is my favorite place to go in the Western Caribbean cruises? I'm going on a 7-night Harmony of the Cruise. Thanksgiving, so excited. First of all, Thanksgiving is a wonderful time to go. Love that. I'm actually going on Harmony of the Seas over Thanksgiving as well. My favorite ports in the Western Caribbean, Cozumel is wonderful. There's so many great things to do and eat there. Love Cozumel. Roatan is growing on me, but Cozumel is probably my number one, without a doubt. I really love that. Grand Cayman is beautiful as well. Costa Maya, I've talked about Maya Chan, which I absolutely love. So you can find little things here and there. Kat wants to know, what do I prefer better, Western or Eastern? They are both great. They both have their benefits. I think I like the food better in the Western Caribbean. I like the beaches better in the Eastern Caribbean. So I kind of go back and forth. I don't really have a definitive favorite. I just like to mix it up as much as I can. They both have their benefits, no question about it. Dat guy wants to know thoughts on Mr. Sanchez and Cozumel. Went there last year to Mr. Sanchez. They had great service. My only concern with Mr. Sanchez is it is a giant facility, and if you were ever there in which the time in which they were, 3/4 or completely full of people, I cannot imagine how busy it must be there. But they run a great operation. Penelope, is there an age restriction on unsupervised kids in through a water park? Yes, I forget the age is. I don't want to misquote you, Penelope, but there is one. You can't send like 8-year-olds by themselves. Best excursion in Roatan, Sarah wants to know. I like the Mayan Princess Resort. You can book this through Royal Caribbean. Tried it last year on Symphony of the Seas. It was fabulous. It's a semi-all-inclusive. It's not completely all-inclusive. We have a full review of it at royalcaribbeanblog.com. Daniel's going in the beginning of January. Wants to know, is the weather temperature usually cold for snorkeling? No, you're going to have pretty warm temperatures. Don't forget, even though in January up north in the U.S. it's freezing cold, in the Caribbean you really don't get much of a change, whether it's January or July. The temperatures don't really jump up all that much in the Caribbean. Really, the difference is the humidity. So anyway, the bottom line is, Daniel, you'll have definitely swimming weather outside of, obviously, a cold front that may pass through, but those are pretty rare. Eleanor, is there any way to find out when the key will be available for your cruise? No, Eleanor. It either shows up or it doesn't. You just got to keep an eye out for it. Mario, is there still a half-day ticket for Coco Key Water Park? No, they got rid of it. It was logistically very difficult to enforce, so they just got rid of it, and it's either a full-day pass or nothing. Have I ever been to Antigua or Barbuda? Levant. I've been to Antigua. Love it. Valley Church Beach. Again, not in the Western Caribbean, but good question. I know you prefer the Latoya, I'm not sure. The Market Net? I think there's an autocorrect there, Latoya. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Abdominal, what do I have against Carnival? No, I don't know. I just like Royal Caribbean. I know what I like, Why is Cozumel your favorite top things to do? Brian, it really has to do with the fact, the reason I love Cozumel is there's so many things to do there. There's great food. Cozumel is one of the richest cruise ports for a variety of things to do. Like, there is just no shortage of amazing things to do there. You've got great weather, beautiful beaches. It's got it all, really, if you ask me. Tracy's going on Alert of the Seas for first cruise next month. Love your channel. Has prepared us for the trip. Awesome. So glad to hear that. Let's see here. Mark wants to know, best excursion in Nassau? Not Western Caribbean. Happy to answer it, though. Nassau, Atlantis is beautiful. Very expensive. Atlantis is a resort. You pay to access it. There's a water park. There's a beach. It's very expensive, but if price is not an issue for you, you can check that out. One of the more underrated excursions you can possibly do. It's no longer booked through Royal Caribbean. You can do it on your own. But right in Nassau, easily walkable, is the Jetline Simulations Flight Simulator. If you've ever wanted to go in a full cockpit recreation of a Boeing 737 and really see what it's like to fly a Boeing 737, this is for you. We have a review of that at royalcaribbeanblog.com. George W. never's been on a cruise, getting ready to book one. Brother, you gotta try it out. It is amazing. Mark, how's the weather at the end of August in the Bahamas? Is it sunny? Sunny and hot. It is August. You'll probably have a passing shower or two, but they're short-lived usually. Mike, okay, so the Royal Caribbean Excursion in Cozumel, a tequila mixology experience at Dolphinaris. Are you familiar with that one? I've heard of it. I mean, obviously, it's a tequila excursion where you kind of learn to make margaritas, things of that nature. It's a mixology thing, right? It's more about you get to learn to make a bunch of drinks and then subsequently sample them. You'll probably leave there happy because you're gonna have quite a bit to drink. Larry, I've not done an ATV excursion in Costa Maya yet. I'd love to. I'm waiting for my kids to get a little bit older, and that'd be a great one to do together. Fat Cat's recommending the glass bottom boat excursion in Nassau. Nice. What's my favorite excursion in St. Thomas that is not a beach day? Want to snorkel? Well, if you want to snorkel, Matthew, I'd probably say you need to go to a beach day. Megan's Bay is great for that. But if you're looking for things to do other than, first and foremost, the best thing to do in St. Thomas is not just a beach day. It's still a beach day. I was gonna say go to St. John's, but that's still a beach day. I would say go to, oh my gosh, you can take a gondola. I don't know what you call it. I call it a gondola. There's a sky ride. You can take the sky ride up to the top of one of the mountains in St. Thomas. They have a fabulous view. It's very inexpensive. You can book it through Royal Caribbean. I'd recommend that quite a bit. We have a review of it at royalcaribbeanblog.com. I forget the name of it, but it's Sky Paradise Point, I think is the name of it, if I'm not mistaken. Brian Medina going on Harmony in 271 more days. Awesome. Center Up, looks like you cleaned up your home office. Yeah, no, it's actually, I just shoved it all over to the side. I got sick of it appearing in the video there. So, yeah, I tried to make it a little bit better. I gotta keep up with Sherry from Cruise Tips TV. Her studio is immaculate. And every time my wife watches, we watch her live videos, my wife is like, why does your studio not look as good as hers? And I'm like, really? Really? So, got to keep up with the Joneses. Jose Pena, thank you for being a Royal Caribbean blog insider. Really appreciate it. Mark, thanks very much. You're super helpful. Love tuning into your live videos. Awesome. David, why is my video completely like, stupid autofocus? Stop autofocusing, or autofocus more. And now, of course, the software is just sitting here doing nothing. And I wonder if I broke it now. What's an example of a decision you made on a Royal Caribbean cruise that you would never make again? Oh man, I mean, there's definitely things I've purchased I would not do again. I don't think I'd do the key again. And I'm also concerned now. My browser's completely locked up because of the autofocus problem now. So now I need to figure out if I'm really still live or if I'm just losing my preview. And I think it's a little. This is like the most frustrating thing ever. Because there we go. Okay. My computer sometimes I just want to break it. Okay, that's better. We fixed it now. It's still live. All right, just blurry. All right, sorry about that. Sorry, I get really frustrated with just silly things like that. All right, so I missed some questions there in my little. Am I familiar with Mr. Sancho's Beach Club in Cozumel? Yes, Brian. We talked about a little bit earlier in the broadcast, but it's great service. We have a full review of it at royalcaribbeanblog.com. Penelope, I've ever been to Belize. What is there to do there? Belize is wonderful. Belize, unfortunately, it requires a very long tender ride. It's one of the few ports left in the Caribbean that requires a tender. So you don't dock at the port. Your ship doesn't dock. It sits off the coast, and you hop on little boats, and they take you to the mainland. It takes a little while. It's about 30 minutes each way, which is a pretty significantly long ride there. But by far, the best thing to do in Belize is scuba diving or snorkeling. The waters there are amazing. So anyway, let's go back to Scuba Pilot's question. What's one example of a decision I made on a Royal Caribbean cruise that I would never make again? Purchasing the key I wouldn't do again. I just thought that I can attain a lot of the benefits without paying for them. And even again, this has nothing to do with my crown and anchor status. I think it's just it seems like a neat idea, but when you use it, I feel like it's not as lucrative as it sounds. Nothing against it. I think I think your money is better spent elsewhere. I'm trying to think of, I feel like there's something else another really good one, Scuba Pilot, but I can't think of it right now. There's a lot of great things. It's always, one of the things I always try to do when I go on a cruise is really, do a little self-evaluation, figure out, okay, what did we do? What did I like? What didn't I like? And try to figure out what's the best thing that we can enhance that, right? What are some tender ports, Mark? Grand Cayman, Belize are both tender ports. Those are the most common ones that are still left. A lot of them have disappeared. There used to be others, and they've built docks since then. Doug, do you know if they're getting rid of the day beds at Coco Key? If so, do you know why? Temporarily, they're actually relocating them, Doug. Right now, they're about to start construction on Coco Beach Club near South Beach, and South Beach is where the beach beds were. But I think they're going to survive. It's going to go there. I am.
Can I say hi?
Sure, come say hi.
Hi.
Nobody saw you. You're not even on camera. Oh, there you
Hi. Subscribe. Get a fun one.
go. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Hello? What are you eating?
Strawberry.
What's your favorite thing to do? We're talking about Western Caribbean excursions. What's your favorite thing to do in Cozumel? Without strawberry in your mouth. Come on.
Let's go beach.
Go to the beach. All right, good.
Oh, can I also have some strawberries?
What?
Robert, you already had your bedtime snack.
The kids. B. Staten, we love the key on the cruise in April. We got it again for our September 8th cruise. I'm glad to hear that. Now, B. Staten, which ship did you have it on? Which ship are you getting it on? I'm wondering if that has anything to do there. Raphael wants to know recommendations for an excursions in Port Canaveral that are not the Space Center. It's pretty limited, dude. You could do an airboat ride if you want to do that. That's like when you go like on that boat with the big fan on the back and go see alligators and wildlife. You could go to Orlando. Probably the most common thing if you're not doing Space Center is to either rent a car or take a taxi or go on a bus and go to Orlando. You've got Disney World, Universal Studios. You've got shopping. You've got outlet stores. It's a big city over there, so lots to do over there. Earl, why no sailaway party on the ship? There's a sailaway party on the ship. I don't know of any of that don't have them, but they're definitely there. Fish Flake, suggestions for excursions in Cozumel. I want something active, but others in my party want to relax. That's a good question. I mean, if you want to be active, I'm imagining like hiking or doing stuff. I mean, splitting up, I hate to say it that way. The only thing I can think of, Fish Flake, honestly, is a excursion that has a combination. Like, it's like ATV and then beach break. You know what I mean? Like something where you're doing a little bit of both. That way there's a compromise in both areas over there. Reese's wants to know if I had any success with Royal Up, and if so, we're happy with the upgrade. No, I've never done it. Quite frankly, I think it's very misleading and not worth my time, so I don't do it. So I would say that when it comes to Royal Up, which is the stateroom bidding upgrade program, it works far better if you're in a lower room, like an interior room, moving up to a balcony, not so much from a balcony to a suite. Jonathan Harmon, thank you for the super chat. Very kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Robert, is there anything ever to do in Roatan? Of course, you got a little French Key. Mayan Princess is a semi-all-inclusive I did recently that I absolutely loved. Full review at royalcraneblog.com. JTB Airliner 320, do you recommend the hop on, hop off in Miami post-cruise? Flight leaves at 3:50 p.m. for Fort Lauderdale. Sure. I mean, it's better than sitting around the airport, right? You can certainly do things on your own. I mean, you can just take a taxi to, like Los Olas Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. You can take a taxi to just somewhere in Miami and explore on your own. But the nice thing about the hop on, hop off, especially if it's through Royal Caribbean, is that maybe they'll store your luggage for you. So from that standpoint, I go with it. Janice, have you ever done the flow rider or zip line? I have done the zip line. Zip line's a lot of fun. I did that on Allure of the Seas. No. Yes, Allure. It was great. Fat Cat, what's my favorite food in the Windjammer for a traditional day one meal? Curry. I love Indian curry, dude. My favorite. Why don't they do sailaway parties on the helipad anymore? First of all, there's a lot more people in music. There's music and there's bars at the pool. So that's number one. Number two, they do sailaway parties on the helipad on Oasis class ships for suite guests. But really what it boils down to is in the helipad is a beautiful view. And I love it down there. But there's no bar, there's no restroom, there's no music. So it's kind of limiting in that regard. What time do the jeez, can't read. Joe Murphy wants to know, what time do the bars on board close? It depends. There will always be something that goes late. I mean, the casino bar is usually the last option you have. Look at a past cruise compass, Joe. We have an archive of them at royalcraneblog.com. And if you look at a past cruise compass, they have a really good idea of what to expect in terms of timing, because they will list a bunch of the bars and what their times are. You'll see a lot of them will just say late, which usually goes to about 12 and 1 a.m. And again, the casino bar goes to like really late, really. If you're staying up past the casino bar, you, sir, are staying up far too late. P. Cole, I have a cruise on Symphony of the Seas coming up in September. Do you know approximately when Royal Caribbean will begin to load calendars, entertainment, etc.? You're 63 days out. You know what, P. Cole? It used to be a lot easier to answer this question. I would have told you, you should be getting it any day now. These days, though, P. Cole, it seems to be all over the place. And the answer to your question is I don't know. The longer answer to your question is I don't know, but keep checking back. It will show up there eventually, but there is no rhyme or reason when it does. And I know it's not the answer you're looking for, but there you go. Christine is here. Matt would have no idea how late the bars stay open. He doesn't stay up. Oh, shots fired. Not true. Fake news. Good to see you in here, Christine. Jason Peterson is here as well. In fact, guys, I should have guessed that since you always request curry in the main dining room. Absolutely. My favorite little cruise hacks, if you will. Beast and Liberty of the Seas, and then again, Liberty. Fractured 3 ribs and falling on ice second morning. I wanted to do a redo cruise without pain. Same ship, 2 or 3 ports different. Awesome. Well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear you broke some ribs there, but second time around will be much better. The key was great for flow rider. It was almost like private lessons. And I would tell you this, like anything, a lot of it has to do with when you're talking about the key, whether you're talking about the drink packages, whether you're talking about dining plans, the value in them, the value you get back is wholeheartedly dependent on you taking advantage of it. You know what I mean? Larry, any tips or tricks for Enchantment of the Seas, Western Caribbean cruise? Do exactly what we're talking about right here, Larry. Plan your excursions out before you get on board. Sport Crazy, any changes between the Symphony of the Seas and the very next Oasis class ship? That'd be Harmony of the Seas. Yeah, primarily there's some, the entertainment's the most noticeable difference. There's different shows on board each ship. Harmony of the Sea, or Symphony of the Seas rather, has playmakers in the boardwalk, where basically the boardwalk area and the solarium are different between the two ships. Trevor, any info about renting a Jeep in Cozumel? My advice is to rent it through a major U.S. Brand like, Hertz or Avis or something like that. The reason why I say that is in Cozumel, in Mexico, I should say, a car accident is not a civil issue. It's actually a legal issue. Like in the U.S., if you get into a car accident, it's a problem between you and the guy you hit, right? You're not going to jail for it unless someone gets, something really bad happens. In Mexico, if you rear end somebody, it is a legal matter. The police get involved with it. Make sure you have a lot of get like every insurance known to man with that one. Do not go cheap on that. Do they have rental car drop-off air at the ports in Orlando? Well, yeah, in Port Canaveral. Orlando's not a port. Orlando's in the middle of the state, and then Port Canaveral's on the East Coast. That's where your ship goes there. And yes, there are drop-off places there. Robert Barnes with the super chat. Thank you, Robert. Very, very kind of you. Robert says, just because, thanks for all you do. 5 days and counting till our first cruise junior suite on Symphony. Well, Robert, thank you for the super chat, and I think you've had an awesome, awesome cruise. 5 days. You know what that means, Robert? You've got like the slowest week of your life coming up. Tina wants to know, what currency do they take in the islands? In the Caribbean, everybody takes US dollars. Don't even think about changing currency. It's a waste of your time. US dollars. Kimberly, what's a good cruise? First cruise for 2 females over 45. Oasis class ship, 7 nights. So Oasis of the Seas, Allure of the Seas, Harmony of the Seas, Symphony of the Seas, 7-night cruise. You'll love it. It'll be a great choice for you. MLL Gammon from Alaska. Welcome. I love Alaska. Going back there next year. We're going to do some more videos about Alaska coming up there. Is there a pool in the solarium in Harmony of the Seas? David Chase wants to know. There is not. There is not. Chad, 25 days till Navigator of the Seas, 3 days Bahamas, 2 adults, 2 kids. Kids have the refreshment package. You recommend the unlimited drink package for such a short cruise? Sure, if you can drink enough of it, Chad. I mean, I get it when I go on a 3-night cruise. But maybe Christine might tell you about an occasion in which I had a drink or 2 on board. It's been known to happen. Amanda McQueen made it to the live chat. Welcome. We're going on 43 minutes, guys. This is crazy. We're having a good time. This is really, really good questions here. Daniel Lopez, any group cruises for 2020? Yes, 2 of them, Daniel. Freedom of the Seas, December 29th of 2019. It's going to be a New Year's Eve cruise into 2020. And then Brilliance of the Seas, October 2020 to New England and Canada. More details at royalcaribbeanblog.com. Any suggestions for first-time cruisers on Anthem of the Seas, Kid Vicious? You definitely want to pre-book your entertainment when it becomes available. Book your shows. Take advantage of that. I would definitely recommend a dining package. Maybe just do the 3-nighter. There's some great specialty dining on board. You want to do that. Definitely take advantage of all the activities on board. It's an incredible ship for those reasons. Yeah, I'm wearing my Hartford Whaler shirts, LB. Connecticut people. Woo! There's only like 7 of us, but represent. Earl, in Juneau, stay out of the jewelry stores. Learn the hard way. I think in general, most of those, like the Diamonds International stores, have a reputation for a reason. Christine, everyone's going on the Freedom Group Cruise event of the year. I can't wait for that. I am super, super excited. Yeah, Paul, Nutmegger is a really lame nickname for people from Connecticut. We don't really have a good one. Like, Connecticutians? Connecticuters? Nutmeggers? No, I don't like nutmeggers. That's lame. Nobody knows what that is. If you ask somebody from Illinois, hey, who's a nutmegger? They'll be like, what'd you call me? Anyway. Amy wants to know, is there any way to get pictures or video of Adventure Ocean for kids 3 to 5 years old? We're cruising with an autistic 5-year-old. We need pictures to help prepare her for things. Can't find much. Yeah, there's definitely video. I mean, YouTube. I would probably search on YouTube. Videos and photos do exist of the areas. You can't take videos or photos or video, I should say, while the area is open. But on day one, you will find these places. Amy, there's a ton of videos on YouTube, I'm sure, for Adventure Ocean. If you just search for your ship and Adventure Ocean, I'm sure you'll find information on that. Victoria, do you have to go through customs if you're sailing into a different country? Generally not. In the Caribbean, it's very rare. Only a few countries require it. Russia is one. Cuba's another one. But like for Mexico or Bahamas, no, there's no immigration process required. Ron, your minor league baseball team is the Hartford Yardgoats. I'm old enough, Ron, to remember the New Haven Ravens. May they rest in peace. Dom, the Autism of the Seas volunteers do a great job on the most recent cruise. Absolutely. They're not volunteers, by the way. But yeah, they do a great job. Is the water choppy Eastern Caribbean 84 V Crawford? Not necessarily, no. More often than not, it's probably not. Will the updates for Oasis be done by 2021? Oh yeah, 84 V Crawford. They're doing the updates to Oasis of the Seas this fall. So it's gonna be done by the end of the year. B-Stan, didn't hear your exact comment, but you said don't change currency. Yeah, there's the only reason you would ever want to change currency is in Cuba, and you can't go there anymore, so problem solved. But you never need to. Everybody B-Stan takes American dollars. Nobody's not going to take it for you. You might, in some places, rare occasions, you might get change back in local currency. Like as an example, if you go to if you go to Mexico, Cozumel, and you go to a non-tourist area, like into a supermarket or some small shop, you might get change back in pesos. You can usually ask about it. They can usually make it somewhere. It's very rare for it to occur, but they will definitely take your US dollars. What is my suggestion for excursions for Costa Maya, Tawana? I would definitely say Maya Chan. It's a great all-inclusive resort. Fabulous choice. Matt M., how about Canada? How about it, eh? I hear Canada's great, eh? I don't know. I've only been for land vacations. I'm actually doing my first Canada cruise next year on Brilliance of the Seas, and you can join me for it. For more details about that, RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com/events. All right, guys, I got to run. Thank you so much for joining me here. Really appreciate you being a part of the fun. Every Monday, guys, we are live right here on YouTube. So if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that way you get notified when I go live. You don't miss out on any of the fun. MLL says, don't leave. I'm sorry, I gotta go. Spend time with the family. We did 47 minutes. It's pretty good for me. But again, we'll be back again on Monday. Tomorrow we'll be live on Facebook. Check us out over there, MLL, if you're looking for more fun with me yammering on here about Royal Caribbean. But guys, in the meantime, plenty more at RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Check it out over there. We'll have some new videos coming at you this week here on our YouTube channel. Until then, guys, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy. Do something fun. And we'll talk again very soon right here on YouTube. See you guys.